Hey guys, Planet Everything here, and today we have a video on how to take that thing off. So this is the iCamper Skycamp Mini, and it's 126 pounds, maybe 140. It is really heavy either way, and so that's why I've kind of changed up my mounting system for the actual roof of my Jeep. So my Jeep roof, it can be pulled off with a couple of pulley systems that I set up over here, but I took those down. So I have 4 ratchet straps that are a lot stronger than the pulley system I was using, and they put a lot less stress on the actual roof. So I am going to be able to take off both the roof and the rooftop tent at once if I want to. Now, that's not a good idea, and it's not something I recommend you do because of the actual weight-bearingness of the roof. When you actually put it back onto the car, it can seriously damage the roof itself because it's only made out of fiberglass, and it can like crack if you don't have it landing perfectly on the car with the ratchets when you lay it back down on the car with the tent on top, because it's an 88 pound, about an 88 pound roof, and then it's 120, for the sake of this, 120 pound roof, or 120 pound rooftop tent. So that gives you a 208 pound load put on this little 88 pound rooftop tent, or roof. And so what we're going to be doing today is just taking off the actual iCamper Mini and putting it up here, but along the way I'm also going to show you how I would be doing it if I was to take off both the roof and the rooftop tent at once. Like I said, I don't recommend actually doing that. I'm going to show you how. Okay, so now from this point we can take these ratchets down a little bit and actually connect them onto the rooftop tent. But before we do that, we actually have to unscrew it, which is not a difficult thing if you have a drill. Now, if you're using a drill to do this, you have to be a little bit careful about the way you go into this, because it can actually ruin the mounting system if you are to tighten it too much. So what you're going to want to do is get a 6mm Allen key. 6mm Allen key, and connect that onto your drill. Oh geez, using converter. I picked this little setup at Ace for pretty little amount of money. You just get one of these things, and what am I doing? Connect in here, and then put this into the end of the drill. And in this case, I'm going to use one of these bendy things so that I can drill in weird places, because the Max tracks actually make it really difficult for me to do that. But if you are using this method, make sure that you don't have your drill on the torque mode, which is just the drill picture. Make sure it's at like 9 or the second highest setting, or double check yourself to make sure you're not over tightening the tent, because if you do, you're going to break something, and it's really, really going to be a bummer because, you know, you may not have a huge financial crisis on your hands because it's about like $10 or $20 to get another set, but you won't be able to have your rooftop tent for a couple of days, a couple of weeks. Okay, now that all 4 of those long bolts have been taken out, we can actually attach the ratchet straps onto the camper thing. That's not a very difficult task. You basically just have to secure it in a way that doesn't pull this way or that way, because the tracks can actually slide. The weight bearing point cannot be movable. On the actual thing. So you have to make sure that you're not violating that rule, and as long as you got that down, you're good. So gonna go ahead and do this. I have my own kind of method. I'll show you guys once I lift it up. Alright, it is now fully up there, so I can show you what all I had to do in order to secure it. So you can see underneath these latches here, I actually put the rope through it, but in a different way. I'm trying to get this focused. I put the rope through here and then hooked the actual ratchet over there. And then I ratcheted it up on each side. And you can see how none of the straps are actually pulling at all this way. So all of them are pulling to the sides. None of them pull with the track. And that's for the reason I told you before, so that nothing slips off. And now this car can actually drive out without a rooftop tent on. It only took me about 10 minutes to get that off. Now, if you don't want to just take off the tent, and you want to take off both the tent and the roof. Now, for me, I have this set up in a different way than some people. Some people have it so they have like a 2x4 that goes underneath here, and they have to pick up the actual. No, that's not how I did it. So I use the crossbars that I have, and what that does for me is lifts up the tent by its own weight. So it's not lifting up the tent by the actual fiberglass that creates the car itself. It's lifting up the tent by these metal bars. And so this actually has no excess weight on it. It's only when it comes back down that you have to worry about the excessive amount of weight that you're putting back onto it, because a lot of times when you put a rooftop back down on the car, it's not going to come down perfectly. It's not going to come down where the little holes that connect into the car, or the little pins and things, aren't going to be perfectly in the car yet. So you're going to have to shift it around, and that's a lot harder with this on, and it's a lot more dangerous as well, because this can just sprawl out like a giraffe that doesn't know how to walk quite right, and it just boof, and on all the sides of the tent, or all the sides of the rooftop, will just collapse outwards, and that would be really bad. So you have to be very careful if you're going to do that. For me, I lift it up by the crossbars. If you're not somebody who has, actually, if you're lifting up a rooftop tent with the hard top, then you probably have crossbars or a roof rack of some sort. So I'm not really, that's how I would suggest doing it, just because you're not lifting up this and constantly leaving 88 pounds more of weight on it at all times. So that's just my suggestion, take it or leave it. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and also please share it with your friends, because sharing is caring.